Peace in Chicago.
This new school year is beginning. There is an uprising taking hold in the city
Public
of
school
Chicago.
teachers in Chicago.
26,000 Chicago public school teachers are picketing around the city today.
I want libraries, I want books, gyms that kids can actually play in. The real conditions of most of our schools are deplorable.
You have to do what you have to do to protect the future, and that's the future of teachers, the future of our kids.
Our kids.
The only way that anybody's going to understand what they need is if we stand out here and walk the line, because we do care about our children. That's why we're out here.
Thank you.
Nobody wants to walk a line. We want to be teaching, but with the real conditions and the real support and the real respect.
Teachers, united, will never be divided.
Instead of just idly sitting by and watching reform after reform without any clear direction, reason, or motivation, teachers have realized that we can actually work together as stakeholders within these schools.
This past year, public education has seen assaults from austerity, ill-conceived reforms, union-busting legislation, privatization, and a deprofessionalization of teachers. As a union, we fought back against this tide, not to protect the status quo, but to provide real, innovative solutions that build up, not tear down public education.
The event tonight was a jointly sponsored screening and discussion about the film Won't Back Down. This movie was a big event and did offend us, so we wanted to meet it head on and talk about it with our community partner.
The union won't allow us to spend the time that we have to spend with them.
What was depicted in this movie is not my experience. It isn't.
We know that we need each other to move those students forward.
It's very much an intentionally divisive movie. We are working together here in Pittsburgh to find real solutions. And when we do that, we've got meaningful parent engagement and we actually can make a huge difference.
Find out if your school is failing.
With so-called education reformers making fictional claims of grassroots support, the AFT is exposing their real agenda to dismantle public education.
That law is called the Parent Trigger.
I can tell you that the parents who want to see improvement in their schools are being presented with a cruel hoax by this law. It is a mechanism to turn hope into hate. We must, in Los Angeles, be about bringing groups together.
Woodland Hills Academy is an example of everybody coming together and on day one deciding nobody's going to point fingers at anybody. Everybody is going to work to make the best school possible. This school is where the future is.
And we are here with you today to say that they have to put a moratorium on the school closings and they have to find...
Our school is a home away from home. It's a diamond in the rough. We do a great job. Our kids appreciate us. They feel safe there. And we want our school to remain open.
The Boston Consulting Group came in and is calling the shots. We're saying we're not going to deal with it. We're fighting.
They are willing to get locked up to keep them from coming in here voting on something that's going to hurt thousands of children.
The rights to be able to speak being taken away from the citizens of Philadelphia.
Seem to be the happiest group of suspects that I've ever seen.
You know, when you do the right thing, you feel good.
An unelected board refuses to listen, then what choice does community have but to say enough is enough, even if it means getting arrested?
What we're here for is a solution-based national reform agenda that is community-driven by the people who are closest to children rather than those who have never set a foot into a classroom. By launching a series of town halls, teach-ins, workshops, and other events in 11 cities and towns across our nation.
What's happening tonight is so promising in building relationships to move forward and work together.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to see all of you here this morning.
I think this is a really important effort to address the ways that the achievement gap really manifests in our community.
People can get together and find ways to advocate effectively, then we need to keep doing it so that we can make real change for our students.
We're all there trying to help that student stay afloat. So it's not about finger pointing.
And I think that this is an absolutely amazing turning point that we're now coming together and saying, wait a minute, we have the same goal. Why are we letting these outside sources convince us that we want different things?
What's for lunch today? A, chicken nuggets. B, chicken poppers. C, chicken surprise.
B, chicken poppers.
Seriously? No!
Is your school taking testing too far? Then go to learningismore.org.
AFT national, state affiliates, and locals all across the country are pushing to make sure that teaching and learning, not testing, drive classroom instruction.
Every day we change and we make thousands of decisions. Just think about what you do using your expertise.
And we already struggle for funds to pay for things that kids need. They don't need more tests.
The child and the teacher and the parent need to be the center of why we do things, not the needs of a testing company.
That will also close the schools of those students.
Tests are being used to privatize, because if I can prove through a test that your school is failing, then I have now evidence to close your school.
We've taught the children to do their best, and then when we set them up to fail, I just don't understand the purpose of that.
We are committed to the success of our students. That means getting this transition to Common Core standards right. That's why today I am calling for a moratorium on the stakes associated with the Common Core assessments.
27,000 AFT members and activists sent messages to Arnie Duncan demanding that he put a brake on the stakes.
This is a shift, though, that you're announcing, this openness to new flexibility.
I've never yet met a teacher who was scared of accountability. They just want it to be fair. They want it to make sense. I think this is our attempt to do that.
We traveled to DC today to give educators a voice, to help ensure that the conversation surrounding the reduction of gun violence continues and moves toward meaningful action. We need our representatives to do their job so that we may continue to do ours as educators in a safe environment. Look at what this tragedy has done for the better. It's brought all of these different communities of people together for one cause. My hope is that some good does come from this tragedy.
I'm delighted to be here with you this morning to help launch this great program. We are going all across this country giving out books.
Through our partnership with First Book, AFT locals and their community partners have distributed 500,000 books to students and families in need.
When they received the book, they was ready. Hands out, smiles on their faces. I believe reading is fundamental, and it does start at home, and it starts at the early ages.
Low-income families come to school with having only 25 hours of literacy in front of them before they even come to pre-K, where middle income, it's about 1,700. So there's a big achievement gap there that we need to fill. So the more we can get in front of them, the better they'll do here.
It gives me great pleasure to officially launch Share My Lesson.
Since its launch in July, Share My Lesson has seen exponential growth with 275,000 members and 264,000 resources.
I went on and went into the art section. It was really cool because something that was in there, I could tie it right in with something I was doing with my 8th graders.
Does anybody have freckles in here?
So we were working on portraits, and there was a really nice lesson there. That part of being in the union is really special to me. All about how do we help teachers become better teachers.
Just a fantastic feeling to know that there are tools out there, that you're not by yourself. And it goes with the Common Core standards. And that's what's important. That's the best tool ever. Whoever thought of it, I love them. Kudos.
Reconnecting McDowell is driving the conversation nationwide on improving rural education.
The head of the American Federation of Teachers has brought together 100 partners from government, business, labor, foundations to revitalize a remote county in West Virginia.
Reconnecting McDowell is starting to show real results, including county-wide high-speed internet, literacy-focused after-school programs, and providing much-needed instruments for band.
Most of our students would not be able to participate if they had to buy their own.
Now we have brand new instruments that actually play. We now have 137 kids in our band.
Save the Children provided training for us. They come in, pick a book of their choice. After they read it, then they take a test on the iPad.
You like that book? You read that one and tell me. You wouldn't believe how many kids, it was the first book that they had actually ever picked up and read cover to cover.
And some of my older kids are reading that weren't reading full sentences when they started.
On Wednesdays is our Family Reading Center Day. Parents come in, read to their children, play with them on the computer.
Corduroy is a bear. Oh, I love it. It gives me a chance to be at the school. It gives me a chance to be involved in his education.
Community schools are solution-driven unionism and community-driven reform. I am a really big believer in this because it is a way of trying to stop these stupid polarizing debates and saying we are all in.
Since adopting the community schools model, Cincinnati has become Ohio's highest performing urban district, with graduation rates that have climbed from 51% to 82%, and virtually eliminating the racial achievement gap.
What Cincinnati figured out is how to bring the whole community in. What you see at Euler is truly impressive. A full health clinic, the nation's first in-school vision clinic.
I have kids that need glasses or have broken glasses, and all they have to do is walk down the hall and get them fixed. We have our mentoring, this one-on-one attention, and we have seen that their test scores have improved.
We get to work with our mentors and we get to play fun games with them.
In my profession, there's not that many women of color, so when I come in, they kind of look up to me because they're like, hey, we can do this as well.
You have all these other issues that walk through that classroom door with those kids. And in order to be most effective instructionally, you have to treat all these other barriers.
So this way will be health, and this will be vision, or correct? Okay.
We like to think of our schools as community assets. They belong to the public. They belong to our children. So if we can keep our doors open, that's what a school should be.
Good. How did geography?
The success of our country is tied to the success of our public schools. It is through the billions of hours our members spend, both in and out of class, that we reclaim the promise of public education.
Parents see us around. We're part of the community. I think that's an important part of who I am and who I am as a teacher and why I stay at this particular school.
I was inspired to come here and help the type of youth that we have in this area, a low SES or a troubled area. I wanted to be a part of that.
Working with other math teachers in the school building, we like to collaborate, develop ideas that will work.
Son las mismas. It says to the community, we are here for your kids, to help them learn and develop a love for literacy from a very young age.
And they're pushed so hard to excel at the PSSA test. For them to have the opportunity to come here and find something that they feel really passionate about, it trickles down into the other core classes where they have more confidence.